That's octagonal there, the most famous son of Zabil. He's got another very famous son after yesterday, a horse called Might and Power. I remember after the Olympics last year, Roger Black, who finished second, and Michael Johnson said, he makes us look like ordinary runners, and we're not ordinary runners. Yesterday, Might and Power made them look like hacks. Doremus is no hack. James Cassidy joins us with Max Prezel and Keith Hillier. Congratulations to all three. Jim, a brilliant ride on a magnificent horse, and Keith and Max, because you did tip it, and well done. It's hard to tip a winner of a Caulfield Cup, and you both went for him.
Good on you, Bruce. Bruce, this Caulfield Cup this morning was described by Lee Freedman, who had 4 runners in the race, as the greatest Caulfield Cup ever run. It certainly was in the past 40 years, at least.
Who could disagree with him, Keith? It was a magnificent performance. It was a world-class performance, and I just wonder whether we'll ever see anything like that again, certainly not in a Caulfield Cup.
And Jim, for you, did it feel different? I mean, you've been on some great horses. Did this horse feel like he had extra power and extra gear? I mean, it looked that way, just looking at him.
When I seen him in the mountain yard, Bruce, it really tickled me, because he was a lot more relaxed than he has been over the last couple of weeks, and he had more dapples on him than a man's got hairs on his head. And
except for Keith.
Except for Keith.
A lot, Jimmy.
Not a bad call this hour of the morning. But look, I was tickled pink because he was relaxed. He looked great, and I knew he was training the minute, so the rest was just up to me, Bruce.
Well, Tulloch, if you say pace setter, you bring him back to the pace setter, might have run as fast or maybe a fraction faster. But Keith, in the history of the event, it's been going since 1879. No horse has won by as far or run as quickly, really.
No, a record margin, 7.5 lengths. Yes, Tulloch actually ran 2:26.1. If you equated it to pace setters, the VATC, unlike the VRC, didn't do that. The distance is 13.5 metres shorter. But that's in the past. This is in the present. This horse, well, they're engraving the Melbourne Cup this morning as we speak, and on it they're engraving Might and Power.
Gee, that is a big race. Let's have a look at the race. I mean, Jim Cassidy took the horse to the front on the first term. He probably had a decision there, will I let Derobe go or not? He kicks up, and have a look what happens in the straight.
And they're off. Marble Halls began quickly with Estadard, always aloof. On the inside now, away quickly, Magic of Sydney, Might and Power prominent, Derobe, Sweet Delight are coming across fast in the early part as they charge down to the post now, and Derobe, ridden for speed, has gone up on the outside to head Might and Power. Magic of Sydney on the rail third from Sweet Delight, and they're followed then by Always Aloof, getting into a good place, followed by next Estadard, who rolled off the fence, turning out of the straight, and Marble Hall's got up on the inside of him. Iron Horse caught about 4 wide from our Sumo Catalan opening, and they're followed by Magnet Bay. 2 lengths further back is Markham Bonsai Pipeline, and they're followed then by Peep on the Sly and Ebony Grove. Well back is Doremus, followed by Skybow, and Count Chivas whipped them in past the 1600, where Jimmy Cassidy had taken Might and Power to the lead. Might and Power the leader, a length to Derobe, a length and a half to Magic of Sydney. Iron Horse posted 3 wide. In the centre then Sweet Delight, a length and a half further back as Marble Hall's having a lovely travel on the inside, followed by Always Aloof, a length to Catalan opening our Sumo. Estadard next between horses, about a length and a half to Magnet Bay. Then 2 lengths to Bonsai Pipeline, Markham over on the rails. 2 lengths further back is Ebony Grove, Peep on the Sly, and then 2 to Doremus, a length away to Count Chivas, and Skybow last of all. Might and Power trying to lead all the way in the Caulfield Cup, takes the field to the 1,000 metre mark, a length in front of Derobe, a length to Iron Horse, Magic of Sydney, followed by Sweet Delight, a length and a half to Marble Halls, and then came Always Aloof, 1.5 further back, Catalan opening. They're followed by our Sumo around Estadard, 2 lengths to Magnet Bay, Bonsai Pipeline, Ebony Grove taken out wide, 1.5 further back as Markham over on the inside as Doremus starts a run on the outside. They're being followed well back in the field by Peep on the Sly and Count Chivas, and Skybow, one of the last. Might and Power still has the lead, coming to the turn at the 500, a length in front of Derobe. Always Aloof is called on for the run on the outside. Marble Halls has nowhere to go, back on the rails, round the turn now, and Might and Power shot about 2.5 in front. Always Aloof chasing hard, and then came Ebony Grove coming down the outside. Might and Power well clear at the 200 metre mark. He's gone out by 4 lengths. It looks all over. Marble Halls is running on the inside, followed by Estadard, and now Doremus coming home, but Might and Power has gapped them in the Caulfield Cup. What a win. He's won it by 7 lengths. Doremus is second, Photo third, either Markham or Catalan opening.
Jimmy, you've got a great call, Greg Miles. Jimmy, that feeling straight afterwards? Up in the air?
Yeah, magnificent, Bruce. It's You know, you win a lot of races, but this has been special since I've been back. It's been 9 months, and it's been a team effort. Jack and Alan and Brett Grant, myself, and all the boys back home. That's why I was so thrilled yesterday. The connections, everyone's been so solid, and it was a real team effort.
Jim, we saw how hard you went out of the straight the first time, yet you ran the last 600 metres in 34.5, which was faster than the last 600 metres of the Scalacci sprint.
Yeah, one thing about riding Jack's horses, whether they're Caulfield Cups or a midweek at Canterbury, they're always fit, Keith, and they always race in handy positions, and you ride them to the line, and that's the big advantage riding for Jack. You know they're 100% fit, and they'll never beat till you get to the line.
Jim, just while on the subject of riding Jack's horses, you are booked to ride Volante in the Cox Plate. Might and Power may run in the Cox Plate. What do you think would be the better Cox Plate ride?
I personally think Volante Max, he's run a super race yesterday.
Better than Might and Power?
I think he'd be a better rider than Might and Power Max. He's proven weight for age. He can race on the speed, he can do everything right, and I wouldn't be getting off Volante to ride Might and Power at the moment.
Hey, Bruce, after watching that Caulfield Cup, would you believe you could say there's a better one at home?
It is unbelievable. And Yippee-Yo-Yo, the other one, has got travel sickness.
Yeah, on the subject of Denham horses, how would you regard Yippee-Yo-Yo and Might and Power in a 2-mile race like the Melbourne Cup?
Well, I'd definitely ride Yippee-Yo-Yo Max. I think Might and Power is sensational up to 1.5 miles. He can race handy. He's a speed 1.5 mile horse, where Yippee-Yo-Yo at 2 mile, I don't think there's horse in the land would be.
Are you putting some doubt on Might and Power in the Melbourne Cup? He's the favourite already.
Well, he's untried at the distance. He's a bit of a free goer, and he showed that yesterday in the Caulfield Cup. And if he happens to run in the Melbourne Cup,
if he happens to run, we thought he would be certain to run.
Well, that's not up to me, Keith. I'm only the pilot, and I'm just directed by Jack, and naturally the connections. I'll have a talk this week with the.
Does Jack talk to you? Does he, Jim?
Yeah, he does. We get on good. We get on very good especially after yesterday.
Okay, well, he doesn't talk to anybody else.
Bruce, I can assure you he doesn't talk to me.
Okay, he doesn't talk to anybody else. Keith tried to talk to him yesterday, but he did catch Alan, who's his son, also a very good trainer.
The win was explosive. We've not seen one like it. Did you expect the horse to produce a run like that?
Well, we've always thought he'd take Volante's place, but just hope the handicapper didn't see it.
Alan, why wouldn't your dad talk today? It's the Caulfield Cup, his first runner.
If you knew the reason, you'd know.
We're glad you did. Thanks, Alan.
Thanks very much.
He might be mute, but he's a personality, isn't he, Keith, Jack Denham?
Well, everyone's waiting for Jack to talk. It's going to be a long wait.
Boy.
He's racing's first mid-personality, you're right.
Well, I've been waiting for 40 years, but nevertheless, it might happen after the Melbourne Cup.
Max, I don't blame him not talking for you, but it's just the rest of us I'm worried about. Look, let's quickly look at the two markets, because Jim has made some very interesting observations. A Cox Plate, Might and Power right now is favourite over Volante. Jim says he'll still ride Volante, or would prefer him. I can tell you Jim Encounter will run favourite on the day. I'm not sure if he'll win, but he'll run favourite on the day. And then in the Melbourne Cup, well, Keith, Might and Power's on the trophy. He's going to have to run.
Scratch it off. Quickly scratch it off.
Look, he'll beat Always Aloof and Marble Halls, Jim, by about a half a furlong if they're up against him, but Doremus might be the danger. Look, I just want to have a look at the Norman Robinson from about the 600. We'll talk over this because we're just about out of time. What about Brave Prince this grade that gets home to win? Is he the horse for the Derby, or maybe, what do you reckon, guys? Is it the Encounters or this bloke?
I don't know how he'll train on, Bruce. That's the key to it. This is his first preparation.
He's back about 6th at the moment.
This was a beautiful ride. He's the grey horse. This was Mick Dittman at somewhere near his best. But look at the ground that on the outside. The two horses on the outside. Tie the Knot is covering. Spying is covering. It was the Dittman ride that won this race.
He'll meet Tie the Knot on 3.5 kilos worse terms in the Derby. It'll bring them closer together. But the A set is going round in the Cox Plate, Bruce. That's Encounter and Schubert.
Jim, almost out of time, and Keith and Max, it was just one of the great days. I think if you could have any racing video of any horse, this was the masterpiece yesterday. You'd want this one in the library, mate.
Yeah, fantastic. Look, I was thrilled, and you know, it's certainly a feather in my cap, Caulfield Cup, and now the Melbourne Cup. I've done it different, last on one and led all the way on the other.
And for everybody, including the two old stages next to you, you gave people a sense of history yesterday. It was just great racing. Good on you, old stages. I'll see you next week with Jim.
Yeah, New Sydney side has won 6 races.
We'll take a break. James Cassidy, what a ride. We'll be back with more after this.